What's up, people? It's your girl Alyssa coming to you with another video. Today, girl, we're going to get into some tea on my new move across the country. I did ask you guys on Instagram what you guys are interested in knowing and learning about relocating and just with my move in general. So I'm going to answer all of those questions and just get into some tips and tricks and everything you need, in order to relocate. So yeah, if you are interested, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button, and then let's go ahead and get into it. Period. There's so many mo's. I got mo's. Boo, boo, boo. I got mo's. Indifferent. Yes, y'all seen the Little Chris and Nelly versus yesterday, period. Stop playing with Little Chris. Stop playing with Nelly too. Just stop playing with both of them because it was pretty good. Okay, you guys, so if you did not know, I have moved to Texas. I moved to Dallas, Texas from Chicago, Illinois. Come on, Chi-Town. I moved mid-pandemic. It was like in early March, mid-March, when everything was starting to get super dramatic, when people were like buying and going crazy over the toilet paper and the paper towel and everything. I moved in the midst of that. It definitely did change my plans. So I asked you guys on IG, I asked to send in questions, and a lot of people did respond, which I actually was surprised. Because, people be acting like they don't really want to ask questions and be a part or support, especially Chicago folks. But Mug sent questions, so I will be answering those today. The first one I'm going to start out with is basically a lot of people ask just how and what pushed me and how did I make the decision, okay? One, how did I make the decision to relocate, and how did I choose where I was going to relocate? So that's a very loaded question. I'm going to try to answer this. I feel like this video is going to be a lot of talking, especially when I edit the video. When it be a lot of talking, I'll be like getting like, oh, people don't want to hear this, but hopefully you guys do. The first thing I think to get prepared to actually relocate and do what it is if that's something that you've been wanting to do, because if you know me, I've been talking about relocating for a very long time, like to the point where it was exhausting how long I've been wanting to relocate, and I hadn't, but I got to the point where, one, I think it's important for you to get there mentally. So originally I had wanted somebody to move with me. I wanted my sister to come with me, I wanted my boyfriend to come with me, I wanted my friend to come with me, anybody. I didn't want to do it alone. And it took for me to get to the point where I realized I had to do it alone. Because I don't have any kids. Of course, if you have kids, your kids is coming with you, girl, right? But when it's just you kind of be afraid to do it alone. And it's just like, I don't want to be by myself in a foreign city. I want somebody to come with me. And not until recent, I think end of 2019, early 2020, I realized that I had to do it alone. Like it was, I realized that I was going to have to do it alone. I was going to have to do it by myself. If this is something that you really want to do and you have your mind made up, you really just got to get everything together mentally. Realize that you're doing it for yourself and you're doing it for your happiness and something that you always wanted to do. And I think once you get past that hump of not needing anybody or needing anything to validate or needing a true reason, your reason is your happiness. Your reason is because that's what you want to do. And you really got to just find that strength within you, because the glory is within you, to go ahead and do it alone. And if someone is going to come afterwards, your family, your friends, they'll come. They'll follow suit, but you have to probably be the first one to go ahead and just do what's best for you. So the first step is getting it together mentally, realizing that, if it's nobody that wants to come with you or do it with you, still do it if that's what you feel is going to make you happy. The second part of the question was, how did I choose a location? So I had been, like I mentioned, been talking about moving for a very long time. It was between DC and Texas. DC had always been on my list because one of my closest friends, she used to live in DC, girl, and we used to have a ball. Do you hear me? Every time I went down to DC, I always loved the vibe. It's very black and popping, a lot of black professionals, and it's just a good place to be. I've always had a good time there. The food is good, the food is fresh, the cost of living is crazy, very expensive, and the weather is a little bit better than Chicago. I mean, it's not hard for the weather to be better than Chicago, but it's better than Chicago. It still has a winter, they still might get snow and stuff like that. They still have the 4 seasons, East Coast, but it was on my list, period. Only thing about DC, a lot of the jobs are government, politics, and then healthcare and stuff. So I work in digital media. I work in media, and what I do isn't everywhere. And I could do my job from anywhere because I just be on a computer, but the market for buying media isn't everywhere. It's like really in LA, Chicago, New York. New York is the big hub. There's some in Dallas, maybe in Miami, but usually in Miami media is Spanish focused, and you have to speak Spanish. Anyway, so it's between DC and Texas, and now it's Houston or Dallas. So I had been trying to decide Houston to Dallas. A lot of people ask me on IG, like, how did I choose Dallas, especially over Houston, because we all know Houston is very black, very poppin', and it's just like, I think you could say it's like a little bit more advanced when it comes to race relations in Texas, because this is a red state, child, and Dallas did have those incidents with, the police, but everywhere, girl, all of that stuff is everywhere, to be honest. So really what it came down to me is I had the opportunity, to be honest. I got put on a project in my old job at Accenture. I had a project in Houston, and I was down in Houston for a little while, really like a week, because the project fell through, girl. And I was like trying to experience, trying to see what I liked, and I really just decided to start looking at jobs and focusing on Texas. I'm like, Texas weather is better than DC. I compared the weather, I looked at articles, what people were choosing. It's really subjective. Like, if you like Houston better than you like Dallas, or you're gonna have to figure that out. Like, I probably can't help you. I personally decided to go with Dallas, one, because of the job market. It was a lot of different jobs that I could choose from in my field that would work for me. Houston didn't have that. I was looking hard, because I'm like, Houston be lit, H-Town, you hear me? But it just didn't work out like that, because where I am is where I'm supposed to be, okay? Because I always pray that the Lord order my steps, and he ordered it right to where I'm at right now in this room, in this location, so I have no questions, I have no doubts about that. So that's also what you need to be doing, is praying and figuring out your journey and within you, and just, getting in contact with yourself, and, that's a whole spiritual movement, but, check into that. Anyway, went with Dallas because it had jobs in my field. And honestly, before I even got put on the project in Houston, I seen my job that I got today, because it was listed for a long time. I just recently learned that they've been looking for this position that I have for a year. And then also, on top of all of that, I know like 2 people in Houston, not a lot of people, but in Dallas, I know a good amount of people from college, and that just makes it a little bit easier when it came to the decision. So that's how I chose Dallas. So yes, one of the questions was, did I get a new job? But then my job moved me down here. I got a new job. Very excited about my new job. It's definitely an upgrade, and it's a gift from heaven, period. So yeah, let me look at the other questions. What is I'm supposed to be responding? Be sure to comment down below if you have any other questions. I'm definitely going to move into how I did the move and executed it, especially during the pandemic. But yeah, girl, give this video a thumbs up, and comment down below. Okay, what part of Texas? I moved to Dallas, Texas. I moved in a more central area because my job is up in Plano, and I didn't want to drive too far to work, even though we're not driving to work now. But when everything, I guess, blows over, I'm only 15 minutes away from Plano, and I'm like 13 minutes away from like Dallas. So I'm right in the middle, kind of like North Dallas area. And I actually really like it. A lot of people ask me, how did I choose my home? So I ended up using a locator, which was referred to me by 2 of my friends. So in Dallas, it's very interesting. Everybody like do these locator things. Like, I don't know, if you're from Chicago, ain't no locators. I mean, it's probably some, but you're either using the realtor or you just using like Zillow, using the internet. Because a lot of times, like I've noticed in Dallas, they have like big complexes. But like in Chicago, we have 2 flags, 3 flags, and like independent owners, landlords. Ain't no landlord here. It's a big, you're paying a corporation, leasing agents, and it's very like big, hella big complexes with like pools and business centers and things like that. Like, you're probably gonna live in a complex, and it's a lot to choose from. So I would definitely recommend using a locator. I use, her name is Amber, which I'll put her information here. You can find her on IG. And just hit her up. She's very, very helpful and very knowledgeable. So I think it's important to use a locator because they know stuff about where you're trying to move to, because they live here. Different questions that I didn't think to ask, she knew to ask. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's a good question. Didn't think of that. They do like a lot of valet trash, and some places the water is metered or you just pay a flat fee because you do have to pay water here. In Chicago, we didn't have to pay water, so that was different. But it's been very affordable. I'm very surprised because, girl, I've been in the shower all day. Okay, so I thought it was going to be very expensive, but it's not, which is great. But it varies by building because I believe in my building they have like some type of meter and system to where it's like more energy efficient. Don't give me the line. However, it hasn't been expensive. So definitely would recommend Amber. She really helped me out. So if you are looking to move to Dallas, her information will be listed on the video, and I'm going to put it in the description box as well, like a link to her IG. But it's a lot of different locators. So originally I had worked with one of these that I found on Yelp, and they wasn't as helpful as Amber. Amber was very hands-on, and she's like, come on, we can go look at the units together, and she was there with me. At first I had originally, before my friend recommended her, I was using some other ones that I found on Yelp, and all they do is put together a listing and then you figure it out yourself, which is cool. But you know, if you're gonna get benefited from, it's free to you as well. Let me add that. So using a locator is free for you, and they get paid from your complex. So the complex is out here paying locators if that person is approved and get the unit. So it's like a win-win. You're not paying for it, you get a lot of help. I would definitely recommend Amber because she was very hands-on and was present. I could have put together my own list of places to find, like this other girl did for me, and it just wasn't the same. So how I actually got up and moved, especially during the pandemic, girl. I always say girl, but it's probably men watching this too. Sorry, it's just a habit. So originally I had planned to not bring any of my furniture. I wasn't going to bring my sofa, bedroom sets, none of that, because I was going to replace everything. I was really just bringing my clothes, my shoes, my makeup, and that was about it. I had planned to come down here and go shopping and buy everything, but that changed when Corona hit. I'm like, okay, the stores are closing, things are getting crazy. I need to bring everything with me, so I need to plan and pay for a full move from Illinois to Texas. So originally, my job, I had asked them about like relocation and things like that, so they hooked me up with the company that they usually use when they are paying for a relocation. They didn't pay for my relocation. I got a relocation bonus. Also, really big side note, if you're getting you a job and they know that you're relocating, be sure to negotiate that in, because my original offer didn't include that. I asked for it and they said yes. Don't be afraid to ask for what you need, because usually when they offer you the job, they want you. If you be like, okay, well, is the salary negotiable? Do you guys do a sign-up bonus, relocation bonus? All they can say is yes or no. And if it's no, they still want you for the job. So don't be afraid to ask for relocation assistance. I worked with the company that they recommended when it came to relocating, and it was too much. So originally, they were going to use like a local moving company to come and pick up my things, take it to a transportation place, have it shipped to Dallas, Texas, and then a local Dallas mover were going to pick up my stuff and then bring it to me. Okay, that's going through a lot of hands, and then during Corona, there's too many people touching my stuff, how I'm going to keep up with all of my boxes and things like that, especially when I realized that I needed to bring all of my stuff. I just didn't like that, and they wanted like, I believe their quote, because I was getting like a half trailer, was like, I think it was like close to $4,000. It might have been like $4,500. So I'm like, eh. Plus, they were going to pick my stuff up like on March 16th, and I wasn't going to be able to get it until March 26th, which that's 10 whole days. Where's my stuff at? This is my whole livelihood. I'm moving, to a new place by myself. Y'all talking about my stuff not going to be here until 10 days. How for my almost $5,000? It doesn't make any sense. I also was going to ship my vehicle, okay? My uncle actually buys a lot of cars online, and he always uses uShip, uShip.com. U is in the letter U, and then ship.com. I'll put it in the description box. So they basically connect you with different automobile providers in the area and give you a quote, and you just say yay or nay. Once you put in where it's coming from, where it's leaving from, where it's going, and the dates that it needs to arrive, okay? And it's usually going to ship on one of those open face. When you're on the E-way and you see that truck that got all those cars on there lined up and they look like they're about to fall, that's how your car would be shipped. if you go with U-Ship, unless you do like a covered trailer, and that costs more. And people, from my uncle, what he was telling me, people don't usually do like a covered one because unless it's like an old school or something that costs a lot of money, you know. So you can also fill up your car when you ship. It can't be, everything has to go in the trunk. So you can't fill it up too much, but as long as you can pack up your trunk and ship it that way. However, I ended up driving because Corona. Okay. So me and my best friend ended up driving to Texas from Chicago. We left at like 1:30 a.m. and we just hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more. And that actually ended up working out. I feel like it was the safest because it was in the beginning of Corona. I'm not sure if they had all the safety measures that they have now for the airplanes and things. And it was just better. It was just us. We rode out. You know, we took turns and we made it. So going back to finding new movers that was going to get my stuff to me in a more timely manner for my coin. So I actually had reached out to a friend. She had done a move to Houston. And I was just using all of my resources. I reached out to everybody. I'm not afraid to ask questions. I think that's a big thing. Ask a question. Even if they're a stranger, like if you know me and you see me on IG, if you send me a question, I more than likely will answer it. If you have a question about moving or, just different things, just ask somebody. Because people usually, if they have this experience, they'll help if they're human. So I had reached out to her and she told me that she actually used U-Ship for the movers. I'm like, oh. I didn't think of that because I was just going on U-Ship. You go to U-Ship, if you check out the site, you have to choose what are you looking to ship. And they have like movers, and then they have like cross-country moves, and then cars and boats and all type of stuff. They just ship everything. So she had told me that she used U-Ship for movers. You put like a bid out there and somebody responds. So I'm like, okay, let me do that and see if I can find something better than that other company. Girl, I found a company called Manifest Shipping. And what's funny is, which they don't know this, of course, I found them, they responded, I looked them up, I Googled, I found the guy who owned it. I was all on his Facebook. I seen his nephews and everything. He definitely a family guy. I'm like, okay, they looking normal. When I tell you Manifest Shipping, they gave their quote to move a 1-bedroom home. So I always had a 2-bedroom and it was a makeup room, but I didn't count this room because I put all this in my car. I put all my makeup. My makeup came with me. My lights came with me. Everything came with me. A monitor, except the table that was gonna go with them. But majority of this stuff, it didn't need to count as a 2-bedroom because it's not a 2-bedroom. It's really a 1 plus a little makeup studio. So a 1-bedroom home. I think I ended up paying them. They quoted me like $3,200. And that was for them to come pick my stuff up, move it all out, drive it to Texas, Dallas, Texas, and unpack it. And on U-Ship, you have to have the stuff done in 2 days. So if I was to use them to ship my car, it's supposed to arrive in 2 days. Use them for movers, it's supposed to arrive in 2 days. Like that's what the U-Ship brand commits to. Because U-Ship is kind of like Amazon. Like whoever you use, they don't work for U-Ship. They're using U-Ship to connect with you to get your business. But it's Manifest Shipping, and I found them through U-Ship, if that makes sense. Hopefully it makes sense. When I tell y'all Manifest Shipping, it was 2 guys. They showed up, they got the stuff in the trunk, and they rolled out. He said, we're about to head to Dallas right now. Because the plan was for me to leave on Wednesday and get there on Thursday. Because they came on Tuesday, and I'm like, okay, 2 days, they'll be there on Thursday. We're going to drive down. They said it's so much stuff going on with the corona. If you can't get there earlier, we'll be there because we're about to just hop in the car right now and start to take the road trip to Dallas. He said they can only work for, I think, 10 hours and 12 hours, so they have to take a break at like midnight. So they got a spot and went to sleep, Tuesday night, and Wednesday got back on the road. So I'm like, cool. If y'all trying to make it down there, I'm making it too. My stuff made it. They picked it up on Tuesday, made it on Wednesday. They got here like 5:30. Perfect. Girl, manifest, okay? Because I order my steps, period. So all of my stuff made it here safely. They do offer insurance. Didn't need the insurance, child, but I just did it because, this is new. So I would definitely recommend Manifest Shipping. They really, really made everything super smooth, picked my stuff up, and got it to where they was going. And they actually came from Ohio. So they drove from Ohio to Chicago, picked my stuff up, and then drove to Dallas. Girl, Had my stuff on Wednesday, picked it up on Tuesday. Now, granted, don't quote me on the price. I don't know what price they're going to quote you. You know, 2020 Corona, things might go up. However, I paid them about $3,200, $3,300, and I think that was pretty affordable. Somebody said, did I find an apartment before I moved? Yes, because I wanted to have somewhere to go. You know, it's different for everybody. Like, if you know somebody who lives here, a lot of people usually move and they stay with somebody and then they, you know, kind of get on their feet. There's nothing wrong with that. It just depends on what type of person you are. Me, I really don't want to sleep on nobody's couch or be in nobody's space because that's just how I am. So I'm going to find me a spot and pay for that because that's just what I would rather do. So do whatever works for you. I definitely did find my home before moving. I did pay 2 rents in March, but it worked out for me, you know, and it is what it was. And to be honest, my landlord back in Chicago, my landlord was a black lady. I was very happy about that. And it's so funny how when things change and people forget that it's business, it's not personal, because my landlord kind of did the most. So you might want to keep that in mind depending on where you are. You might have to break your lease. You know, when life changes and you have an opportunity come up, you know, you might have to break your lease, which is what I had to do. My landlord actually thought that I was going to be paying her until my lease was up, which was going to be up in September. Mind you, it was like March. I'm moving in March. She was going to never get a dime from me. And I asked her, like, you know, what about a lot of these corporations will give you, like, these management companies, you'll have to pay a fee to get out of your lease and then it's just done. She's like, well, it's no fee that you can pay unless you just pay the rent in full until October, which is stupid on her, because if she would have charged me a fee, she would have made money from my fee as well as the new person coming in. It ended up really working out because the Lord was on my side. And one of Lynn's friends needed a place and she liked it and she rented it and she got it. So I ended up only paying March rent and leaving, which I'm glad it worked out because I really didn't want to have to get a lawyer and really go there. I thought it was unfortunate that this black woman who was acting like she's so supportive, especially of black businesses, and when I have an opportunity, now you acting stupid. It's like, girl, what you want me to pay 2 months worth of rent? I'll pay that. But do you know, like, let me out of my lease. That's what renting is about. This is not a mortgage. This is why people rent. So they can get their ass up and go and do whatever it is that they want to do. But everything really worked out. And hopefully she's doing great because I am. But it just blew me. I'm like, girl, nobody paying you this. Who the fuck gonna pay you this September? Not me. Okay, somebody asked me, how did I pick a part of the city to live in? And did I look online or did I visit when it came to finding my home? So going back to what I said, I worked with Amber, the realtor, which is her IG name. I did come and visit because I'm very particular when it comes to my home. I had a list of things. I made a list of what I wanted because I knew my rent was going to go up because I was going to come down here and give me like more of like what they would call a luxury apartment because I'm not moving to another state or moving into nobody's hood, basically. Like I lived on 53rd in Chicago. That was enough. And I'm from 79th, period. So I wanted to come here and get something nice. So I dedicated the weekend. Me and my sister came down. We hit a lot of different complexes, me, my sister, and my realtor, and we just narrowed her down from there. We looked for, I wanted a balcony, I wanted 2 bedrooms, I wanted the top floor. I really didn't want any carpet, you know. I wanted it to be luxury, I wanted it to look nice, I wanted it to have some nice amenities. And I really, really checked all of those boxes. So I'm very happy about that. I definitely would recommend that you visit. But if you can't, it's okay. Nowadays, they have a lot of different ways. A lot of these locators will FaceTime. They would do videos and make it a little bit easier to where you won't have to come visit. And I feel like you can find a good home online, especially if you're not picky. Me, I'm picky, and I was blessed enough to have the points and the companion pass on Southwest to go. So I'm like, let's go. Let's go see these places because I want my home to be, you know, as perfect as it can be. Right, someone asked, did my job relocate me or was this a personal move? I feel like I kind of answered that. This is definitely personal. I've always wanted to move from Chicago. So Chicago will always be there. Chicago will always be home. And I will forever be Chicago. However, the weather is just so weak. And I just couldn't take it anymore. And, you know, I was traveling so much for work. And I'm blessed enough to be able to travel. And I know that there's so much more to life. There's so much more in this world than the United States, to be honest, but that's another deep conversation. However, I am an American, so I stay mass in the U.S. So I'm like, I just want to experience something else, you know. So it definitely was personal, but I wasn't going to do it without a job. period. How is the distance affecting my relationships and, you know, just overall tips? So I think I seen this post and it had said when the love runs deep, the distance don't matter. We'll always, you know, be close and we'll always pick up what we left off. And I've been fortunate enough to be surrounded around the same people for years because it's always been genuine. All of my relationships, everybody's been around me 10 plus years. And I never was worried about my relationship because it's just like, you know, we solid. I try to surround myself around solid people. Everyone's going to come visit me. My best friend's coming on Tuesday. Today is Sunday when I'm filming this. My mom and my sister's coming this Friday. My cousin don't live too far. She's coming up Friday as well. So, you know, when mugs fuck with you, they gonna still rock with you no matter where you are. You know, and long as that communication is there, you guys talk on the phone and you just keep it real. It's just, you know, I don't think it should affect the relationships negatively. I think it allows you to miss each other even more. So when y'all hang, we going crazy. We turned up. You know what I mean? Like, it's just all good vibes and good things because, like, you're finally coming to visit me. I want to show you this. You know, let's go here. It's just exciting, you know, especially for even romantic relationships. I think long distance relationships is definitely tough. But whatever will be, will be. I've been connected with all of my people every single day, especially during quarantine. It's been very important that I talk to everyone. I talk to everybody every day, to be honest. Every day. So I think it won't really affect your relationship negatively if the relationship is solid and if the communication is solid. So when it comes to, I feel like the amount of money that you need to move, I would say at least $5,000. Like I mentioned, my move was just $3,200 with the movers. But, you know, paying for gas and just paying for a lot of other things, you need at least about $5,000. And I think that's possible. You know, that's not too much, but at least $5,000 because somebody asked me, how much money do you think you need to execute a true cross-country move? About $5,000. And that's like super affordable, packing things up yourself. I use all U-Haul boxes. I went to U-Haul because you can return the boxes that you don't use and you don't need. And they are most affordable, so you can like buy one of those big packages, and the ones that you don't use, you just return them and you get your money back. Yes, you guys, so I feel like I answered all of the questions. Like I mentioned, if you have more, comment down below. But yeah, this is me, Alyssa Marie. I am now a Texas resident. And if you in Texas, because like I said before, I looked at the geo of like who watches my videos and like where you guys are located, and a lot of y'all in Texas. So how many of y'all in Dallas? Comment down below, girl. What's up? But yes, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it helped you when you're trying to figure out how to execute a move, things to do, and websites to use. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you on my next video. Peace.